It's 4:30 in the morning. I'm in the middle of Iceland looking for the Holy Grail. What's so strange about that? It was mental. So how did it all come about? Well, here's the prologue. A few years before, I'd met Sophia, an astonishing psychic, and so began a 12-year learning process. One day I asked Sophia, what was the background to the Mona Lisa?
It is this place of Iceland. And there is an Italian scholar who is searching for documents he believes are buried there. And he's correct, there are documents buried there. The Gospel of Mary Magdalene, teachings of eternal life, reincarnation. So all was not destroyed at the Council of Nicaea.
Believe it or not, there aren't really many Italians looking for the Holy Grail in Iceland, and it didn't take me long to find Giancarlo Gianazza. In 2002, he had got obsessed with Botticelli's Primavera and felt that the raised hands of the dancing figures were arranged in a code corresponding to the position of the planets on a certain date, March the 14th, 1319, and another Botticelli, which showed a young boy holding a globe which he took to be Iceland. Now this led him to Dante's Divine Comedy, in which he also thought, due to certain rhymes and the way it was numbered, alluded to Iceland. The Divine Comedy begins with Dante walking up a hill and ends with him having a divine experience in the centre of a circle around which all the planets revolve. The Divine Comedy had inspired artists for centuries. It's a sort of spiritual quest led by Dante's teacher Virgil and centred around his love for Beatrice Portinari. Now she was a young girl who Dante said he had met only twice, in 1275 and 1283. Now it turned out that those dates were Venus transits, and now that's when Venus crosses the Sun, which it does twice, 8 years apart, then not for another 100 years. Venus is a very powerful planet to the great psychics, as its gravitational pull releases spiritual, loving, female energy as it flies past the Earth. Now remember, in those days, any woman with psychic ability would have been demonised as a witch and tortured, then killed, often by burning. So I began to think maybe Dante was telling us in code that Beatrice was no ordinary woman, that she had been a psychic on the Mary Magdalene level. Then he met Icelandic architect, historian and sage Thorarinn Thorarinsson, who became intrigued by Giancarlo's ideas. So in 2002 they set off to central Iceland and discovered a small stone-like throne on the opposite side of the Geological river. And so began Giancarlo's quest, which over time attracted a whole team of enthusiastic supporters. Da Vinci seems central to it all, especially as the M in his Last Supper seemed to correspond with the M in the river. Giancarlo had noticed something else, that a breast-shaped hill nearby the stone throne looked just like the hill underneath the wing of Da Vinci's Annunciation. He was looking not for the mythical Holy Grail, which is what everyone talked about, but for documents that he believed would show the truth of Christianity, and he just wanted to sit down and read them. Having researched it all for a few months, I began to wonder if Giancarlo wasn't the reincarnation of Dante, that only Dante could decode his own book. But whatever the truth of that, I felt that I really needed to talk to Giancarlo myself. Just sent him an email and said I was interested in his quest, and he invited me over to Italy. He said, "We'll come and talk about it." So I went over there, and him and his wife and I were having a pizza, And I thought, look, I better just tell him, because I mean, I can't just go around like this. So I said to him, look, Giancarlo, the thing was that I was actually, I was sent by a psychic to help you. And he looked, I mean, he kind of looked pretty shocked. And he said, well, I need all the help I can get. So why don't you come out and see what you can do? I sat down and spoke to Thorarinn for the first time. We were looking at Giancarlo by the river, and I said to him, I don't think there's going to be anything buried down there. I mean, the water could come up and drown it all.
Yes, I remember. And I said something that all wisdom, what they are trying to look for down there, is kept at the top of a mountain. I said something like that.
An old Buddhist master sort of thing. So I said, well, let's walk up the mountain then.
Yeah.
And we did. Thorarinn explained to me that the hill was the top of a volcano, which was active 10,000 years ago.
Dante seems to have written into his poem is an exact description and size and measures of this whole site, up to the waterfall here upriver, and how the gorge flows in a sort of S-shape form, and where there are places along the gorge where the sun never shines on the river, and the flow of the river flows to north on one side and to the south on the other side, where Dante crossed the river and walked up until he came to the river again. So the river was flowing in opposite directions within a walking distance. Dante talks about a breast in Italian, mamella, if I remember correctly. And it all of a sudden took on a great meaning. And our search down at the gorge came to a stop, as we were not finding anything there. And that fitted with my idea that that was an impossible place. This would be better. 2013, we came walking up this hill, mostly quietly, but then talking in between.
Well, I don't know if it's a mountain, but it certainly felt very, very significant as we were doing it. I remember it, and I remember sort of thinking, what is going on here? And the other extraordinary thing is that when you look at, there's a row of mountains all around us, and it does actually feel, even at this point, like a throne of God. Because even though those mountains are actually different distances, it feels like a huge amphitheatre,
Sort of glaciers,
yeah,
and mountains, and the river flowing down in the middle, just as it says in the poem.
Should we go to the top of the mountain?
Yeah, let's do. Let's go. There is only one thing in the universe, in infinity, and that is everything. And if your mind is there already, then everything is your mind. Mind is all there is. We are all exist within the mind of God.
And when I finally stood on the grassy summit, we were still talking. Then I turned to look south. Suddenly I had a flash of inspiration. I realised that what I was looking at was the background to the Mona Lisa. And then I heard words.
All female wisdom and power is held within the breast of the earth. This is the throne of Beatrice.
Over the following year, Giancarlo decided that the hill may be the right place to continue his search, and I began to wonder if Da Vinci's Bacchus was a message to Giancarlo to look up from the river and down into the earth.
This is the right place, but it is not as if you can just dig down. there are tunnels.
So the following year I went back. All I had to do was find a tunnel leading to a central area. Easy does it, no problem. For the next 4 years I searched for a tunnel. I even invented my own machine to find it. The machine worked fine, there was only one problem. 6 years after my quest had begun, I could find no tunnels, no caves, no documents, nothing at all. It was now 2018. A lot of people were very sceptical about what I was up to. Some of Giancarlo's team didn't think much of me, nor did my friends, family and a lot of musical colleagues too, who thought I'd gone totally bonkers. I guess they had a point. Then, for various reasons, I found myself alone with the hill for a few hours. I was pissed off, I mean like really pissed off. I was pacing around, swearing, shouting, kicking the earth. So much time, effort, money, arguments, all for what? Then I just decided to sit there and be quiet and just to ask the hill, what is this really all about?
I am the point of all creation.
I am the point of all creation. I mean, what did it mean? But whatever it meant, I felt a great weight lift off me. And I also realised that maybe the tunnels that Sophia had been talking about were lava tunnels 2 miles deep. I certainly wasn't going to find them with a corkscrew. But what was so special about the Iceland volcano? A few weeks later, I was in Edinburgh to do a show with crazy Russian artist Maria Rudd, who had developed a show, Animotion, where she painted live, responding to the music. Maria is a complete one-off, a human volcano. I think God was planning on making a few Marias, then he thought, maybe one will be quite enough. I say that with great affection, by the way. I discussed my Iceland quest with her husband Ewan many times, but what I'd quite forgotten is that he had studied geology at Oxford University.
This particular map here is showing the North Atlantic. This line here shows the line of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. That carries on down, separating Africa and South America. Where Iceland occurs is at the intersection of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge and the pre-existing Caledonian Suture, a huge fault line which is from the same era as some of the big fault lines in the UK, the Highland Boundary Fault, and so on and so forth. If we zoom into Iceland, here, this little red arrow marks your mountain. And that spot is exactly at the point at which the Mid-Atlantic Ridge intersects with the Caledonian Suture. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge has been shifted slightly along the line of the suture before re-establishing. And it's because of that intersection of those two, this line of spreading and this pre-existing deep fault, that Iceland as an island has resulted. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge is essentially a line of spreading where if you go down and record what's happening there, that's spreading at a rate of 1 centimetre a year in each direction. You have a lot more lava coming up at this intersection, huge amounts more, meaning that volume of lava has risen above the surface and formed the island of Iceland.
After speaking with Ewan, I realised the significance of Giancarlo's Hill. Then in 2023, I learnt that beneath Iceland, 2 massive water currents collide, the salty Gulf Stream and the fresh Arctic waters. This collision pushes huge amounts of oxygen to the bottom of the ocean. It's a well-known theory that life began underwater near hydrothermal vents, but combined with huge amounts of oxygen, these vents could have been the unique mixture needed for life to begin again following the 5th extinction event 66 million years ago. This was when a huge asteroid is supposed to have hit the planet and killed all life. So Giancarlo's Hill may represent the birthplace of the modern era, the Garden of Eden. Now, was Leonardo alluding to the Garden of Eden in this painting of the Virgin and Child with St. Anne? St. Anne could be Mother Earth, as she has the same dress colour as the mountains, giving birth to Mary, who is giving birth to Christ the Lamb. The mountains in the distance certainly look very similar to the mountain range to the southeast of Giancarlo's Hill. So the date Giancarlo gleaned from Botticelli's Primavera. I tried to find anything significant that had happened on that date, but just came up with nothing time after time. Finally, I decided to ring Sophia. Now, she told me to make March into a 3, after all, January, February, March. So okay, now I had 3, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 9. Then she told me to add the numbers together, but like the Fibonacci sequence, the alchemist way. Okay, so what she meant was this: 3 plus 1 equals 4, 4 plus 4 equals 8, 8 plus 1 equals 9, 9 plus 3 equals 12, 12 plus 1 equals 13, 13 plus 9 equals 22. So I now had a different set of numbers, 4, 8, 9, 12, 13, 22. But what the heck did that mean? Then I began to think that as we're all expressions of Mother Earth consciousness, then maybe the throne of God in the final chapter of the book of Revelation could be the point of greatest Mother Earth creation. In other words, Giancarlo's Hill. And as I was relating these thoughts to a friend, they just happened to ask me, what is the number of the final chapter of the book of Revelation? I flicked to the end. Wow, I couldn't believe it. Chapter 22. Then in a blinding flash, I realised that the numbers Sophia had given me were the key to understanding the book of Revelation. Chapter 4 talks of a volcano, that out of the throne came lightnings and thunderings. Chapter 8 talks of 4 separate extinction events. Asteroids hitting the planet, all the grass and trees being burnt up, fire, poison water, killing most life forms on the planet. And Chapter 9 talks of the 5th extinction event, that a star had fallen from the sky to the earth when the 5th angel sounded his trumpet. Chapter 12 talks of Mother Earth crying out as she gave birth, then a titanic battle as the dragon beast male energy tries to destroy the female wisdom, but she is given wings to fly to a place of protection in the wilderness. Chapter 13 tries to warn us of how the beast energy will try to destroy and control us with the mark of the beast microchipping digital ID into the body. Then chapter 22, the final chapter in the book of Revelation, and its message of hope, that one day soon, coming down from heaven, will be a new understanding, a new Jerusalem, a city of angels that will facilitate a coming together for all humanity. So, after 6 years and loads of difficulties and misunderstandings, I felt I was finally beginning to get somewhere. That this quest was not really about documents, more about understanding Mother Earth's creative energy with strong links to the Book of Revelation. I got obsessed with looking at Da Vinci's first painting of Lisa, and then it struck me that the two pillars look like the two pillars of Solomon's temple, but behind her is not a building, it looks like the centre of Iceland. Now it's worth remembering that Iceland was originally called Iceland, the land of the goddess. So finding Solomon's real third temple may be the reason the Knights Templar went there on their mysterious visit in 1217. Then I discovered that the Mid-Atlantic ridge has tectonic plate links to Italy, Temple Mount, Mecca, Pakistan, right the way back to Tibet. So there seemed to be a Mother Earth tectonic link between all the great religions. The Book of Revelation talks of opening the 7 seals. Now what it may be saying is that you follow the 7 tectonic plates back to the point of origination, the centre of Iceland, that has the deepest connection to the Earth's core on the whole planet. I guess you could say the crown chakra of Mother Earth. This huge point of Mother Earth creative power coming from the centre of the Earth may also explain the extraordinary number of miraculous healings that happen in Iceland. Anyway, with all this in mind, I decided to return to the hill with top cameraman Paul Teverini. I wanted to show the majesty of the place and how it related to several Da Vinci paintings. Now all I needed was one clear day, but by the time we got there, the forecast was low, dark clouds. On my first day, I bumped into Icelandic spiritual teacher Umar, who took me to a waterfall near her house, insisting that this was one of the most spiritual places in the whole of Iceland.
So this is Helgufoss, but there is a beautiful being, energy being, and she wanted me to give David her blessings.
The next day we set off, and as forecast, thick, dark clouds. We came to the place where the first Icelandic Parliament was held at Thingvellir, and you can see the 2 cliffs, which are the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, Europe on the right, America on the left. I was looking at the clouds and couldn't really hide my disappointment. But after 3 hours driving, something astonishing began to happen. The clouds began dissipating. The weather was looking more and more perfect. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and I began to wonder if Umar's blessing was working, that the beautiful being had wanted me to be there and was now giving me the perfect day. People say that Giancarlo was searching for the Holy Grail, but I believe that the medieval Holy Grail myth was really alluding to a cup of golden knowledge. The knowledge of reincarnation and our soul's quest for experience and enlightenment over many lives. I still believe that there are ancient documents buried in the hill, but finding them could just lead to division and unhappiness, or like the fragments of the Gospel of Mary Magdalene that were found in the 19th century, misunderstood and just ignored. But as I walked back to the car, an astonishing thought crossed my mind. The Renaissance artists were simply saying, open your eyes, look at the divine proportions behind everything. But now, Mother Earth had given me something very special. Her most sacred place, filmed on the most incredible day by one of the world's great cameramen. I no longer needed to find documents. Mother Earth had heard my prayer and given me a great cameraman on the perfect day.
Lose your connection to the power of love that created you. It can cause a disturbance in the body. You become deprived of the force that can heal you, become sick. So if you are weak, let goodness enter your heart and gather strength in the presence of nature. And you shall find, for the truth is within you. and you shall find that the truth is within you.